the air apparatus on, and then to go too deep, you have to hold your breath. And, you know, if you go down deeper than you thought, you know, next thing you know, you're gulping in water. This thing allows you to breathe normally. Here it is right here. Let me see if I can expand it here a bit so people can actually see. You know, it might look like, you know, you're some kind of alien, you know, right here. But, I mean, it fits over the head, as you see. You know, you put, you know, you plug your nose as you normally would, you know, with the nose plugs to keep the water out, and you breathe through your mouth. That apparatus right there allows you to breathe, take air in, and when you breathe out, it doesn't go out. It doesn't go out the same way it comes in. It channels the out air one way, and when you breathe in, comes another way. So they're saying this thing is going to revolutionize the way snorkelers and swimmers really practice, and especially beginning swimmers that are, you know, you're kind of afraid, you know, because you don't want to gulp in that type of water and things like that. They're saying this thing is going to revolutionize the way people snorkel. But we're coming up on a break. We're going to talk more about this after the break.
Exciting, man.
Yeah, we're coming up on a break right now. But just remember this snorkeling device, this power breather, as they're calling it, as we take this break.
ShockwaveSound.com.
Alright, here we are back again in the studio. Oh yeah. Alright, there we go. So now we were talking about this apparatus here known as the power breather for you know, swimmers and beginning swimmers and snorkelers and stuff out there. This thing, according to the people, this is going to help a lot of people who are, you know, afraid of choking on water. They said because it allows you to breathe more naturally, you don't have to worry about choking on the water. They say despite how hard power breathers try to sell us on the fact that this thing is going to not just be cool and fashionable, but useful. Whew, man, sometimes the words just escape you. You know, you just simple words like that, you don't know what to say. But they're saying that despite how hard power breathers use this thing, it's not going to, they don't have to worry about it backing up or the valves, you know, like, because the tendency is to think that, you know, if I use it too much or I breathe too hard, maybe eventually I'm going to be sucking in water if I'm under the thing. And they're saying that with the dual valve system, this thing is not going to happen. Go ahead.
I'm just so upset that I didn't come up with this idea. I'm serious. This is really we have that problem constantly.
Yeah.
You know, and this is really, really a great, simple,
Right.
great concept.
Right.
Really,
Right.
really good. And I know it's gonna go.
So
really
when you're in the pool, you're saying that this is a problem of like just taking in water
yeah,
and stuff
especially
like that.
beginners,
Right.
or even myself, who I swim a lot.
Right. But there are
It's
times.
a comfortable.
Right.
It's a way to be comfortable swimming.
Right.
Without having to worry
think.
about moving your head.
Right.
You know, it's really, really a great idea.
Now they're saying that they didn't give a time when this thing is going to debut. Right now, the type we showed you is still a prototype. But they're saying that this thing is on the way. They're saying this thing is on the way. They didn't give a time for release or anything.
It's not gonna be long.
But yeah, this thing is on the way.
This is not like computer stuff. This is mechanical. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I mean, it has some electronics in there. They're saying, I guess, to handle the ratios and stuff, but not a lot.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It does have some computer parts in there to help handle
So we're out the market.
Huh?
That's gonna be probably $500 for that sucker.
It's not going to be the cheapest thing you can afford, huh?
I thought it was like a $20, $50
Oh,
thing.
no. That's why it's still in prototype mode. They're still working on what they say the King Star and things like that. So we're gonna be able to get our hands on it, not right away.
Is it
but
battery operated or something?
I don't know if it's. I'm sure if there's electronics in it, it has to have some kind of power source.
Yeah.
But not batteries as far as AA, and then they die out on you. Probably like a lithium ion, something rechargeable or something longer lasting or so forth. Probably give you X amount of minutes underwater, or like maybe an hour underwater.
Would be nice if it was what do you call it?
Solar power.
Solar power.
Yeah.
And while you're down there, the sun goes out.
Right.
Goodbye, sir. Here we go. Everybody's coming out the water. The sun went in.
Oh, you see a bunch of people just scrambling out of the water because their air breathers are without power. But it's really made for snorkeling in shallow waters and stuff like that. Where like you say, the sun still reaches.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So if they can make this thing solar powered, that would definitely be solar and battery powered. That would definitely be good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we just got to wait and see how this thing goes out. Now, in a good story, not that wasn't a good story, but, we've heard a lot about 3D printers so far, printing different things. And then, there came out this 3D printed handgun, and now everyone is like, oh, man, what are 3D printers going to be used for if they're just used to make gun parts and, and weapons and all of that? Right away, people are thinking, oh, man, 3D printers, I don't know about this anymore. Well, here is something that 3D printers did that is really showing you the potential on what 3D printers are really created for. Like you said, Devin, there's always going to be someone trying to get over on the system and do what it wasn't really created for. But here's something that 3D printing really shows you the use of this thing. They have 3D printed robo hands that they have made that helps children who have been born or disfigured, like without fingers or anything like that. According to carpenter Richard Van Az, he made his own fingers after losing his fingers in an accident. He created that, and now he's helping children by 3D printing prosthetics running on the Indiegogo campaign. The Indiegogo campaign is like Kickstarter. He's raising money for this thing, and I'm going to show you the actual printed hand that he was able to print using 3D printers. He said people who have lost fingers can try to get robotic hands that cost them literally tens of thousands of dollars for these robotic hands. Or, according to Richard Van Az, he says that you can try, or they can try to 3D print their own hands. That's what Richard Van Az is working on after a woodworking accident in 2011 cost him 4 of his fingers. The South African carpenter decided to build his own fingers from hardware store parts, but eventually he turned to 3D printing. Using a MarkerBot Replicator 2 printer, he collaborated with Ivan Owen, a creator. He was a person who creates prosthetic fingers and stuff like that. And after much trial and error, they since printed hands for 4 South African children who have lacked fingers for one reason or another. The first was Liam, a 5-year-old boy with I don't even know how to, the animatic or anomaic band syndrome, who was born, he was born without fingers on his right hand, and at the request of the child's mother, Van Az and Owens produced a RoboHam, a low-cost 3D printed prosthetic. Now let me show you, rather than just talk about this, let me show you the video, not video, let me show you the picture of this 3D printed limb for this child, because, I mean, this is where 3D printing really is going to soar. Yes, we're going to have, you can print a cup, you can print, pots and pans and knives and even some intricate gears, and even people are going to use it for weapons and so forth, but this was really the idea behind 3D printing. I mean, just check this out. Look right now at these, this robotic prosthetic limb hand that Richard Van Az was able to print right here, and this is printed. This isn't something that they developed and pieced together. This right here, if I can enlarge this right here, you see that this is the child right here. This is the child, and this is the robot printed hand that they use a 3D printer to print out this hand. They put the design. Matter of fact, they have put those designs online for other people to use who have 3D printers or anything like that, so that they can too use this technology. And Devin, you're shaking your head at amazement right now at what, and this thing works. This limb right here gave this child the ability to have fingers on the other hand that he wouldn't normally have, because he was born without fingers on his hand. And so, I mean, what is your thought on what 3D printing brings to the market right here? Now, you're looking at this, anyone looking at this will say, well, maybe, it was developed or created or whatnot. No, this thing was printed out of a printer, for much less than $10,000. Once they got the raw materials, we're talking much less. So parents can now afford, if their child has an accident or you have an accident, to get something like this cheaply. I mean, what's your thoughts on just the leaps that 3D printing seems to be doing in technology?
You and I talked about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just the amazing boundaries that are being pushed right now, and technology, in terms of printing.
It's just crazy.
It's just crazy. I mean, the other flip side to it, though, there's going to be some nut who's going to come along and try to use this to do something sick,
right,
rather than positive.
Right.
That's really, really cool. I mean, I'm just about emotional about it, because as a God-fearing person, and this is where you see how He gave us that power,
mind,
and that mind, He says, go ahead and use it. It's
right.
amazing.
And see, and like you were saying, that the Lord created things for us to discover as well, and this to me is something that I definitely could see God being a part of, because I don't see any, when I say downside, I mean, yes, someone can use the technology, but I'm talking about when it's used the way it's supposed to be used.
Absolutely.
There's no downside to it. There's nothing being hurt as a result.
The only downside to it is the fool who uses it negatively.
Exactly.
That's the downside, not the technology.
Exactly. Not the technology, but the person who wants to use this thing. Or you're going to use this to print these things and then sell it for an exorbitant price.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Exactly.
That's the downside. But the technology itself, 3D printing, to me is one of the biggest advancements in technology that we have going on right now. I mean, it's one thing to be able to print a cup or print pans, which is good too. I mean, it saves you from going, but to be able to print limbs. I mean, a parent who has their child, for whatever reason, something happens to your child or something happens to you, your limbs get cut off and whatnot, to actually have a